Broadcasting live and direct from your speakers. It's About Your Money. Allow me to suggest a few ground rules before embarking on this experience. Be open-minded to new ideas that may seem counterintuitive. Be willing to suspend your disbelief, because the worst form of ignorance is when we judge or reject something we know little or nothing about. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Are you ready to transform your financial mindset?
Welcome to About Your Money.
Hosted by financial marketing strategist
Michael Andrews Jr.
About Your Money brings you straight, no-nonsense talk about all things money, connecting you with accessible resources and industry-proven experts in the areas of banking and credit, loans and modifications, fair debt and collection practices, retirement planning and investing, real estate, and more. If it's about your money, we'll talk about it. Host Michael Andrews Jr. will provide the tools individuals, families, and communities need right now for economic empowerment. Take charge of your financial future right now
with About Your Money.
And now, here's your host and financial strategist,
Michael Andrews Jr.
Well, welcome to the broadcast today. I really appreciate you joining us. It's show 141, April 19th, 2017. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. And I'm telling you, I'm not suffering too much with the allergy situation today. But my goodness, last week, wasn't it just raining last week? What's going on with this weather? One day it's raining, one day it's sunny, one day it's raining, one day it's stormy, one day it's sunny. I tell you, these chemtrails are really doing their job, aren't they? So listen, today's broadcast is really going to be interesting because I'm going to go over today more than 10 reasons on why you may want to avoid contributing to a 401k plan. Yes, I did say that. I said it with pride, no arrogance, but with confidence that you will wake up and see the light, because many people are being duped. I want you to think about what you're not being told. In fact, you need to take that idea, that mindset of what you're not being told in everything. Too many people make their religion, their financial religion, if you will, out of 10-second sound bites because it sounds good, or because a certain somebody said it, and therefore it must be the gospel. But when we look at the numbers, when you look at facts, when you look at the IRS code, the IRS law as it applies to said way of retirement planning or saving, you got to look at some things and not just take it at face value. Meaning this, face value, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket when you retire. Many people take that component there and then go, oh, okay. And then their brain shuts down, shuts off to common sense. Yeah, it does. So I'll be discussing that today. The 10 reasons, actually more than 10 reasons why you need to avoid the qualified plan. There are many aspects or many different variations of a qualified plan, but it all pretty much is the same. You're going to be taxed later. Okay, we're going to get taxed later. You know, it's like putting stuff on credit. How's that working out for many people? Not good at all, because many people are suffering from credit card debt. Why? Because they have this mindset of paying later. So when you have this mindset of paying tax later, you are subjecting yourself to whatever law is in place at the time of you implementing your withdrawal. Think about that, because lawmakers can change the rules of the game anytime they want to. We just saw that when it came to, appointing the new chief justice, when they didn't have enough votes and there was going to be a filibuster. Well, what do they do to avoid the filibuster? Well, we'll just change the rules. And whether you're for or against it, that's not my point. The point I'm trying to make is the rules can be changed any damn time they want to change. They can change the rules in the middle of the game. We're in the middle of NBA playoffs. For those of you who are basketball fans, you understand this is a great time to watch NBA. What if all of a sudden they just changed the rules in the middle of the season? They said, it's not going to be any more 3-pointers. the rest of the season throughout the playoffs, dunks contribute to just 1 point, and now what used to be a 3-pointer is a regular 2-pointer. It would just, people would go crazy. They wouldn't dare to do that. But yet lawmakers change the rules all the time. So there are ways for which you can actually position yourself, and despite any changes in the law, then you're protected. Yeah. So I'll share with you some things about that later on in the broadcast. So you don't want to miss that. Okay. I want you to get a pen and pad, and I want you to have an open mind. The worst form of ignorance is when we judge or reject something we know little or nothing about. When you have an opinion on something, or someone has an opinion on a matter and they have no facts, they have little to no knowledge of it, really, it's just a waste of damn time. And I run into a lot of people who have a lot of opinion, but no facts. In fact, when I think about the qualified plan, a little certain something comes to my mind. Yeah, it's really weird. It's just, I don't know why. It's just, when you think about cell phones, do you think about the old brick cell phones, the handbag cell phone, the cell phone, the long cord in the car? Do you think about that? No, you think about your smartphone today. You think about the current technology of today. You think about what is applicable for today, not yesterday. When you think about internet, you're thinking about just signing on. But before, we would hear this. We would hear the sound, this glorious sound that will allow for us to feel that we're entering into the world of the internet. Our souls were elated. Our minds were at ease and at peace, knowing that we're going to go to the next level of knowledge and get information. Yeah. Some of you are still in that dial-up mode when it comes to utilizing financial advice. It's outdated. It needs to be on broadband mode. Okay. If you're on broadband, then the information that you're getting needs to be on broadband. What you're doing needs to be broadband. Okay. So I'll discuss that when I get back from the break. I'm going to go over the 10 reasons, more than 10 reasons on why you may want to avoid putting your money in a qualified plan altogether. There are other alternatives that are non-taxed, that allow for a higher contribution limit than a Roth, and it is safe. Also allows for you to have some security as it relates to, maybe, let's say, a lawsuit. What if there's a judgment that comes down against you from someone who decides they want to sue you, and they see assets in the qualified plan? Boom, they can attach those. There are certain ways in which you can avoid that. I'm going to go over that. Read some emails. I love these emails. I love the people who are corresponding with us. And you can always visit our website at aboutyourmoneyradio.com. Don't go away. I'll be right back with more of what we're going to be talking about today. You don't want to miss it. I'll be right back.
Seeking to purchase a home or refinance your existing home mortgage and require down payment and or closing cost assistance? Contact Lamar Baxter with All Western Mortgage to inquire about their down payment and closing cost assistance program that could save you thousands of dollars relative to your down payment and closing costs. Remember, their programs are for both home purchase mortgage and refinance mortgage loans. Contact Lamar Baxter at 800-682-7906, 800-682-7906, or lbaxter at allwestern.com. lbaxter@allwestern.com. All Western Mortgage, an equal housing lender. NMLS 1502753, licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act.
To hear real solutions to real problems many are facing in America, tune in live to About Your Money Radio with Michael Andrews. The truth has been known to offend. Learn more at aboutyourmoneyradio.com.
Educating, empowering,
Engaging.
about your money with financial strategist
Michael Andrews Jr.
helping you navigate your life towards financial transformation. And now, back to the show.
Okay, welcome back to the broadcast. Really appreciate you staying with us today. Now, I know I caused a little bit of controversy when I bring up a sacred cow that needs to be tipped over. That sacred cow of retirement savings as it relates to a qualified plan. Many people believe in that, and because you've been doing it for so long, you don't want to find out that you've been duped, or you don't want to find out really that there was a better way and your advisor perhaps didn't tell you because they felt you didn't make enough money without even talking with you or discussing it with you. Let me explain. I have participated in many financial workshops where, my specialty happens to be in the fixed and indexed markets as it relates to annuities, permanent insurance. That is my specialty. There are many advisors who say, well, I can do all this. Well, then they're not a specialist. They can do all of it, but are they really good at one specific thing? And so I was talking to this one particular advisor for this one particular company after the workshop, one-on-one. And I said, I noticed that you're just telling everybody to maximize all of their qualified plans. And we both know that's not the ideal way of doing it. You and I both know that that's not the most effective way. And he said to me, Michael, because I'm licensed in this area, I must tell him that. I am forced to tell him that. Otherwise, I can get in trouble. And I said, it's a good thing you have me here for them to see an alternative that's going to be ideal. And he goes, that's exactly why you're here, because they need to hear from you why a non-traditional approach with alternatives is going to be really ideal as well, giving them the option of utilizing many strategies depending upon their situation. And of course, the number one thing that many people understand is diversification. So you don't want to have all of your eggs in one basket. And if you are a employee and you feel that, and you see that your primary retirement plan is a 401k, then I tell you right now, I don't care how much of a match you're getting, you're still setting yourself up for a failure, most likely. One downturn of the market, what happened in 2008? What happened, ladies and gentlemen? For those of you who had a 401k, you lost out. I spoke with this young person who wasn't even 30 years old, and I said, look, you have to understand that when there's a downturn in the market, it can affect everything. And they said to me, real ignorantly, well, it worked for me because I was able to buy a house really cheap. And I go, well, yeah, it did affect the housing market. But if you're looking at that as your benefit, really, I'm talking about future here. And you're talking about putting all your money in qualified plans. I'm like, I said, are you really serious? And so we had a nice conversation with their accountant, nice conversation with their other advisor, and we all came down together. And they begin to see a non-traditional approach to this. And even the CPA was like, we need to have a conversation with some of my clients regarding some of the approaches. But nonetheless, let's look at a few things, because I need for you to really see how we can do some things for you. And you can receive a free overview as well. But here are more than 10 ways. In fact, I think about 12 or 13. But keep in mind that the 401k is often considered the no-brainer gold standard of retirement plans. But far from being a bedrock retirement plan, the 401k started, really, folks, as an experiment in 1981 and has still yet to prove itself. What do I mean? What do I mean that it was started as an experiment? First of all, understand something. 401k is an Internal Revenue Code, and it was originally designed for highly paid executives as a supplement to their retirement. Let's stop there. Let's stop right there and park and realize that it was originally designed for highly paid executives as a supplement. Are you a highly paid executive? Most people contributing to a 401k or going to a job interview asking if they have a 401k are not highly paid executives. They're making, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90,000, $100,000 is not a highly paid executive. It's not. But yet, oh yeah, we'll match you 50%. Let me tell you how that's going to hurt you in the back end. Oh my goodness. So in fact, let me play this one clip that came from 60 Minutes, because for those of you who decided to be a 401k lab rat in the first test group are just starting to get back their results. I mean, think about it, folks. After 30 plus years of faithfully funding their retirement plan, okay, it's time to retire, right? And as you'll see, the last 15 years have not been kind to many people. But you should have been, it's not a surprise, folks. It's not a surprise. The supposedly dependable 401k is not your best choice for retirement, not by a long shot, folks. So let me play this clip, because this is a 60 Minutes clip, and the TV show commentator, he asked, what kind of retirement plan allows millions of people to lose 30 to 50% of their life savings just as they near retirement? Listen to this.
The 401k drop was tremendous, is tremendous at this point in time, and that's where the savings was. That's our hurt right now.
We can't live our vision of our dream of retirement. That's the worst part. Many people can't.
And what was your dream?
Our dream was to have a log cabin up north, Leland area, and just live a nice, quiet life. And we can't do that.
You think you'll ever be able to retire?
I don't see that day. Can no longer see that day.
What kind of a retirement plan allows millions of people to lose 30 to 50% of their life savings just as they near retirement?
So you see, I can't make this up. This is not just my opinion. I'm backing it up with facts that have shown to be true. So I'm not just sitting here giving my opinion based on nothingness. Yeah, I did say that. My grammarians who are listening, yes, I did just say nothingness. I win at Scrabble every time. So now let's take a look at a few things here. Let's take a look, because I want you to be aware, ladies and gentlemen, and I want your advisor to listen to this. Tell them to download it, to listen to it, and get their take on it. And let's have a meaningful conversation about your specific situation, because everybody's different. Everyone is different. Just because your neighbor got a 4.2% interest rate on their refinance doesn't mean you're going to get it, because their credit, their income, their debt to income ratio, their equity in their home, et cetera, may be different than yours, right? The house may be different, therefore it appraises differently. I mean, my point is, I want you to see that everyone is different. There's no such thing as a financial cookie cutter. No, there isn't. So it's really interesting overall when I look at these. I have so much I want to give you, so I'm trying to see which ones I should do. But understand this here. Unlike other investments that are protected from losses, your 401k rises and falls with the stock market, where you have absolutely no control. Retirement planners will tell you the market averages 8 to 12% returns every single year. They'll tell you that. That may have been true last century, but this century has seen the turn into a fiction. That has turned into total fiction, folks. Think about that. I know there are people on there, the market's going to do 12%. You need to put your money in mutual funds. You don't need permanent insurance. Get term insurance. And because your mutual fund's growing at 12% every year, you'll have enough money to retire on. Really? Search it out and you'd see for yourself. Okay. Now, from 2000 to 2015, the market was up just 8.4% total when adjusted for inflation, or about a little over 0.5% per year. And that was after a substantial market rally. Do you want to live your ideal life only if the market cooperates? Of course not. But let's talk about administrative fees and the tyranny of compounding costs, because the average person doesn't even believe that there's a cost to their 401k. Let me ask you, how much you're paying for your 401k? Most people don't know. And then when you're told by your administrator, you're not given the full details. Only a few years ago were we able to receive more information regarding fees in a qualified plan because of the federal law that was implemented. we were then shown more of the fees, the costs associated with these plans. But even then, we're not given the full picture because there's no transparency with these organizations. They want to continue raking in the fees and the costs as it relates to your plan at your expense. So now, no, I'm not going to touch on that. I mean, I have to really condense this information down. I have so many other reasons besides 10. I'm only at really 1. Think about that for a second. So there was a gentleman by the name of Jack Bogle. He's the founder of Vanguard. And he pretty much is the pioneer of indexed funds. It's really amazing what he's been able to do. And he says what happens in the fund business is the magic of compound returns is overwhelmed by the tyranny of compounding costs. So if you contribute $5,000 per year from 25 years old to 65 and the fund goes up to 7% every year, your money would turn into around $1.1 million, a little bit more than that. Yet you only get to keep $669,000 or less than 60%. That's because 7% compounding returns hundreds of thousands more than a 5% compounding return. And none of it goes to you. None of it. The 2% fee roundabout cuts into the return dramatically. And in the example I just gave, folks, by the time you turn 75, that mutual fund may have taken 2/3 of your gains. He goes on to say, in fact, I should play a clip because I want you to hear it from himself. But I'm going to tell you what he says, and then I'm going to play it for you. He says, do you really want to invest in a system where you put up 100% of the capital, you take 100% of the risk, and you get 30% of the return? Do you? Listen to this.
What happens in the fund business is the magic of compound returns is overwhelmed by the tyranny of compounding costs. It's a mathematical fact. There's no getting around it. The fact that we don't look at it, too bad for us.
What I have a hard time understanding is that 2% fee that I might pay to an actively managed mutual fund is going to really have a great impact on my future retirement savings.
Well, you have to rely on somebody to get out a compound interest table and look at the impact over an investment lifetime. Do you really want to invest in a system where you put up 100% of the capital, you the mutual fund shareholder, you take 100% of the risk, and you get 30% of the return?
So as you can see, folks, it's not just me telling you. That came from a retirement segment on PBS. That was on PBS Frontline when he was discussing this. Also, another reason, folks, there's no cash flow for better opportunities. Your money is pretty much, stuck. Think about this. The theory behind 401ks is keeping your money put away, right? Where you can easily touch it. You can't touch it. No, not at all. Unless, of course, you want to deal with a penalty. You don't want that, right? And they tell you it's going to compound enough for you to retire on. Well, we've seen why you should be suspicious of that story. Why? Because compounding charts don't look the same at a little over 0.5% per annual returns, as I just explained a few moments ago. But here's the other problem. Money left to compound unpredictably for 30 years is stagnant money. There's no cash flow ready to direct to today's best uses. Instead, it's sitting still inside one 30-year bet while newer, better opportunities may be passing you by. No one thinks about that. No one thinks about, hey, I can apply this as something that's going to be better, like a new cell phone. My point being is you got the old brick phone, but you're stuck with it for 30 years. You're stuck. And if you try to change it out before a certain year, you're going to get penalized for trying to change it out. Think about that. There's no opportunity for you to get with the next best technology as it relates to a financial structure, financial strategy, when your money is all tied up in a qualified plan. All your money is in a qualified plan. There's lack of liquidity when perhaps you need it most. Now, understand something, folks. I know I have my pundits who are listening right now who are saying, oh my gosh, you're so turned off. You're not even listening to the facts right now. You're not even listening to the first two reasons I discussed. You're too busy trying to think of what to say rather than try to listen. Remember, one of the best financial quotes I read from his book, financial book, Douglas R. Andrew. He says, the worst form of ignorance is when we judge or reject something we know little or nothing about. It's pretty amazing. So another reason is lack of liquidity when you need it most, as I mentioned just a moment ago. Money in your 401k is tied up with penalties for early withdrawal unless you know how to safely navigate obscure IRS codes. They are obscure. There's ways of navigating them, but you need someone who understands the tax law. This means you can't spend or invest your money to enrich your life without great difficulty and or taking a big financial hit. The only exception allows you to borrow on a limited amount of money from your 401k if you promise to pay it back. You got to promise, put the money back in here. The government says, hey, you better put your money back in here because we want to tax you later at some unknown rate in the future that we set. So you got to realize that this automatically leads to double taxation and many other negatives. The worst being if you lose your job or your income dries up, the real change is basically, think about this. The real change overall is, first of all, you have to repay any loan you took out within 60 days. I want to let you just kind of deal with that for a second. I mean, if you have some type of Guido loan shark, I mean, they give you more than 60 days, but not your qualified plan. If you lose your job, your income dries up, you must pay back that loan in 60 days, period. Now, also another reason, lack of knowledge encourages unconscious investing. With 401ks, we have seen environmentalists who are unknowingly invested in big oil. It's true. And anti-smoking advocates invested in big tobacco. Simply put, 401ks teach people to be unconscious while investing because your money is just tied up in some glorious sounding mutual fund who's, of course, they're invested in whatever. Now, yes, I understand things have changed over the years and it's not the same. 401ks are not the same anymore. I'm talking about in general, qualified plans as a whole here. Okay. Understand this. So think about it. How much do you really know about your 401k? Do you know the funds in which you're invested? Do you know the details of the companies inside those funds? Do you know the fund manager's philosophy, history, and performance and ideology concerning how they're investing? Probably not. How can you expect to gain a return from something that you know so little about? And how can this be called investing? It's not investing. It's gambling. That's what it is. It's gambling. Now, another reason, I think I'm on number 5 now, right? Fear of taxes leads to underutilization. Many people are scared of taxes. Many people believe taxes are going to go up. You believe that. I believe that. Everyone believes taxes are going to go up. We just don't know by how much, do we? We don't know by how much. So therefore, we just do what the powers that be tell us to do. We're like mindless little drone heads, just being directed as they see fit. I'm beginning to tell you to have a mind of your own, ladies and gentlemen. Have a mind of your own. Now, we have to understand something here. 401ks are tax deferred. You know this. Means you avoid paying taxes today by committing to paying them later. But taxes are historically low now compared to the days of 50s and 60s or even 90% marginal rates. And if you look at the marginal rate calendar, you'll know that years ago in the 50s and the 60s, they were much higher. Think about that. And with record national debt, I mean, right now we're looking at close to $20 trillion of debt, highest ever. And yet our tax base is still kind of low. It's about to catch up. It has to switch. It has to. When will it happen? We just don't know. So the tax deferral aspect of the 401k, which is touted as a great boon, is actually a primary factor contributing to its underutilization. When the time finally comes to enjoy or live off the money, retirees basically are pretty much just left to kind of leave the money sitting there. But don't forget, you have that RMD factor, required minimum distribution. Oh boy. So either way, you have to pay Uncle Sam. I know some of you are saying, well, hey, I don't mind paying my fair share. That's the thing. We do not want you to pay more than your fair share. And when I get back from the break, I'm going to discuss with you the rest of the reasons, and I'm going to share with you a non-tax alternative that's the contribution limits are higher than a Roth. I'll be right back with more of About Your Money Radio. Don't go away.
Seeking to purchase a home or refinance your existing home mortgage and require down payment and or closing cost assistance? Contact Lamar Baxter with All Western Mortgage to inquire about their down payment and closing cost assistance program that could save you thousands of dollars relative to your down payment and closing costs. Remember, their programs are for both home purchase mortgage and refinance mortgage loans. Contact Lamar Baxter at 800-682-7906, 800-682-7906, or lbaxter@allwestern.com, lbaxter@allwestern.com. All Western Mortgage, an equal housing lender. NMLS 1502753, licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act.
Educating, empowering,
Engaging.
about your money with financial strategist
Michael Andrews Jr.
helping you navigate your life towards financial transformation. And now, back to the show.
Okay, welcome back to the broadcast. I really appreciate you staying with us here at About Your Money Radio. My name is Michael Andrews, and you're listening to Show 141 today, April 19th, 2017. My goodness, time is flying. It was just Thanksgiving. It was just New Year's. It was just Valentine's Day. It was just tax day yesterday. So I pray you got your money in, you filed that extension, whatever you need to do. I pray that you do not put Uncle Sam on the alert for you. Now listen, I got so much more to go with here. I only covered a few reasons. I said I got 10, right? Actually, I have more than 10, but I'm going to give you quite a bit here. So higher tax brackets upon withdrawal. See, this is number 6 here. It's ironic that people anticipate that they'll have healthy returns on their qualified plan value. It's really amazing to me. Many people actually believe I'm going to have, some healthy returns over the next 30 years, while at the same time figuring they'll be in a lower tax bracket at retirement. If you have achieved any measure of success, you should actually be in a higher tax bracket at retirement. Most advisors, however, assume the opposite. Even worse, those higher tax brackets are likely to be even higher and more daunting in the future. Well, why is that, Michael? Well, hello, we have a budget in this governmental system that has to pay for all of the armed forces, has to pay for all of the governmental agencies, has to pay for the CIA, has to pay for DEA, has to pay for the IRS, has to pay for the, VA, has to pay for a plethora of agencies. And I'm telling you right now, folks, it's going to get real nasty out there. There's no exit strategy. It's number 7. There's no exit strategy whatsoever. Early withdrawal penalties, over the top borrowing rules, daunting taxes. These are all incentives never to touch the money, ever. Getting into a 401k seems simple enough, but how are you going to get the money out? I touched on this before, folks. Whenever it comes to any kind of financial plan, and everyone's going to be different based on your specific situation, what's your exit strategy? What's your tax strategy? When you walk into a building, there are exit signs posted. When you get on a plane, my gosh, even the attendants, they even give you instructions as to where the exits are. You need to understand how these exits are working. What is your tax exit strategy? Just because someone touts you need to get into a qualified plan, you need to put money on a mutual fund. Okay, what's my tax strategy on the way out is what you should be asking them. And they look at you with a deer in the headlights, snap your fingers in their face, and go, hello, what's my tax strategy on the way out? And if the only thing they say is, well, you're most likely to be in the lower tax bracket, you need to run. If that is the sum total of the reason, then you should run. Period. End of story. Done. Now, this is another one here. Number 8, 401ks are easy targets for estate taxes. Ooh. Now, frankly, 401ks are just pretty much sitting ducks, folks. Predatory estate taxes. My gosh. When you look at that, they're sitting ducks for them. Since there's no clear exit strategy without major penalties or taxes at the end of a person's lifetime, their 401k often ends up being a pile of cash that looks very tempting to the government. When it's passed on to the next generation, it's likely not only hit by income tax, but the estate tax as well. I touched on number 9. I touched on this earlier, actually, how pretty much the government can change the rules whenever they want to. Well, the government owns your 401k. You need to know this. You got to know this, folks. Do you ever read your 401k? Do you ever read that plan? Read it. Because you may be surprised to learn this, but your 401k doesn't even technically belong to you. Like I said, read that fine print, and you will find a section that says F as in Frank, B as in Bob, O, FBO. It means for benefit of. The tax code makes it technically owned by the government, but provided for your benefit. Bam, slap in the face, right? Judging from world history, 401ks could be in great jeopardy. Other countries have raided private retirement plans to fund the government. Argentina did it in 2008, folks. Hungary did it in 2010. And Ireland, I think they did it in 2011. Think about that. Similar pension raids occurred in Poland and France. Could it happen in America? Well, during the last recession, Congress invited an expert to give testimony on confiscating 401ks and turning them into public retirement plan like Social Security. It only takes one economic crisis before your retirement for possible rule changes or confiscation. Let me go over that again. It only takes one economic crisis before you retire, actually, for possible rule changes or confiscation of your 401k. We've heard about this before. For those in the know, there have been talks about converting all qualified plans into a bond, a guaranteed return that the government will give you, a guaranteed return of X amount of percent. There are trillions of dollars right now in qualified plans. And all it takes is one rule change in the government in the middle of the game, while the company's saying, we're going to match you 100%, and you're boasting, you're bragging, your chest is all out, and you're pinching your nipples like, yes, I got it going on. When in reality, you are owned. You are FBO'd. Think about it. I don't mean to laugh. I'm not laughing sarcastic. I'm laughing like this is a damn shame. Number 10. I got some more. I want to go through this pretty quickly here, but there's some turmoil in retirement. When it comes time to withdraw money in retirement, maybe you can stomach the taxes. Maybe. But can you stomach the market swings in retirement? Suppose you've projected to withdraw 6% a year based on an average annual return of 8%. What will you do when the market is volatile? If your fund is down 10% one year, any withdrawal is tapping to your principal, right? At that point, your only choices are start withdrawing principal and leave money alone until your account is up again. Try sleeping at night when your income is at the complete mercy of the market. That's exactly, folks, what's happening here. My goodness. What about lost without a comprehensive plan? Now, I don't know about you, but I've witnessed many people whose finances are in shambles, yet who continue to contribute diligently to their 401k plans. It's like someone with a slit wrist tending to a scraped knee. Doesn't make any sense, right? You need a macroeconomic big picture plan that identifies, prioritizes, and manages all pieces of your financial puzzle in harmony, of course, with each other. You don't need a general one-size-fits-all plan that's sold to everyone. I just mentioned that earlier. There's no such thing as a financial cookie cutter. You need something that's specific to you, your situation. So, that was what, 11? Let me give you another one here. Neglect of stewardship and responsibility. Now, 401k plans encourage people to give up responsibility for their investment decisions. They believe that they can just throw enough money at the experts and somehow 30 years later, they'll end up with a lot of money. Then when things don't turn out that way, they blame others. A true financial plan requires stewardship and responsibility. In short, folks, saving for retirement is wise and prudent, but other investment philosophies, products, and strategies can meet your financial objectives much more quickly and safely than a 401k. Investing for cash flow or investing directly in a business or cash flow banking where you become your own bank can be smarter moves. Even paying off high interest rate loan can be a smarter move than contributing to your 401k. So whatever you choose, I urge you to do it as a conscious investor. I suggest that you don't swallow Wall Street's promises blindly, okay? And look to those who tell the whole truth about your financial options. The days of financial cookie cutters are old. Get rid of them. If everybody was, let me give one example. I'll give you two. If everybody is supposed to put their money in a qualified plan, then why is it that most people are not financially stable as they're contributing to a qualified plan, maybe 15 or 20 years into it? Why? If everybody was to just simply buy term and invest the difference, that 30-year-old outdated mantra, if everybody was to do that, then everybody would be in a great situation, but they're not. You got to look at these old, antiquated ideas, philosophies, and strategies and realize that is old. You have to get with the times here, folks. You have to. Would you invest when it was ideal to invest in certain stocks at one time? Is it ideal to invest in them now for future growth? Probably not. Would you invest in Blockbuster now? No, because at a time it made sense, but at a time it made sense to get out. You see my point? It made sense at one time to get out and perhaps look into a Redbox, a Netflix, which of course is the best thing right now in that specific situation. You see my point here? Blockbuster is gone. Why? Because they failed to change with the times. They failed to change. And as a result, they got swallowed up. If you fail to change, you're going to get swallowed up, folks. That's my point. It's a beautiful thing, especially when you're dealing with insurance companies who've been around for over 100 years in some cases. I know some people say, "Oh, Michael, I don't believe in, life insurance and investments should be in the same strategy." Well, then tell that to the bank, because banks utilize a strategy called bank-owned life insurance, called BOLI. And when you understand that, I think I touched on that last week's show. Bank-owned life insurance companies and banks work hand in hand. Banks utilize life insurance like every day. Okay, so I want you to understand. Just do a Google search for bank-owned life insurance. For you naysayers out there, you'll find that your knee-jerk rhetoric is outdated. So if you want to see how this can benefit you, there are unique ways of getting a free, no obligation, no cost analysis of your situation to see how it can work for you. There is. So just contact us. You can always do so at 916-238-8282 because everyone's different. It may not work for you. This strategy may not work for you, but there are strategies out there. Don't follow the crowd, because when you do, everyone sinks. A lot of you sunk $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 gone in your qualified plan during the last economic downturn. I'm just trying to help you avoid losses again. Listen, we got to get on out of here. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us today here on About Your Money Radio. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or even opinions, I welcome them. You can always visit our website, aboutyourmoneyradio.com, aboutyourmoneyradio.com. Okay. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. As motivational speaker Les Brown says, it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege to be in your presence today. I really appreciate you joining us. You can always give us a call at 916-238-8282. 916-238-8282. Until next time, take care. God bless you and your family. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to About Your Money. Hosted by financial marketing strategist
Michael Andrews Jr.
Got questions? Need more details about a guest or a topic you heard on the show? Contact Michael right now at aboutyourmoneyradio.com. And be sure to follow us on social media at About Your Money on Facebook and Twitter for updates, financial tips, and current financial news and commentary from Michael throughout the week. About Your Money, empowering you with knowledge to create the financial freedom you deserve.